Hi everyone and welcome to Andre's Small Engine Shop. I promised when I started this channel that I would make a video in English, so today is the second part. In the first part we talked a little bit about Swedish history within lawnmower and gardening equipment, and I would like to continue a bit on the history theme even today, but more on a personal level. I would like to tell you of what I have done in the past and what situations made me find interest for small engine and gardening equipment. I've always loved history and I think it's interesting to hear about people and what they have done in the past. So please, if you have a couple of minutes, please share a video of your history and what situations made you find interest for lawnmowers and gardening equipment. We will also in the end have a very short show of my little space here. So please follow along. I guess I was born with an interest for mechanical and technical stuff in my DNA. It must have come from my father. He's just like MacGyver. Anyway, when I was a little kid, I always sat in the driver's seat pretending that I could drive the car, steering, shifting gears and so on. But when I was 5 years old, my father bought a fishing boat. And that was in quite bad condition. The engine was really worn out. There was a guy down in the harbor telling my dad that you can't use this boat for anything. The engine is totally worthless. You can use it to throw overboard when you're out fishing to have as an anchor to stop your boat. Anyway, the coming winter we tore down the engine and I was with my dad on the weekends rebuilding the engine. And this is where I started to learn about four-stroke, compression, valves, and so on. Anyway, we got the engine to run in a mint condition, and I could say that the guy in the harbor, when we started up the engine, his mouth was down here. My interest for lawnmowers started when I was 7 years old. My father had bought a Stiga lawnmower. Yes, a Stiga that was also from the time when it was Swedish. It had a 4 horsepower Briggs engine with a vertical pull start and a PTO, a side shaft for front wheel drive. And it was not a belt between the engine and the front wheel. No, it was a chain. I mean, talk about heavily built. This thing was super strong. I loved this lawnmower and I loved to cut the grass as often as I could. The only problem was that I didn't weigh so much, so I had a problem to start it. I had to stand almost on top of it and holding the pull start and jumping upwards to overcome the compression. Anyway, that was a great memory. 15 years old, I got my first moped. It was a German Zindap with a 2-stroke engine on it, and we also fixed a lot with that engine. We changed out the piston and the cylinder from 50 cubic inch to 70 cubic inch and made it go faster and so on. 18 years old, cars came in the pictures. My first car was a Swedish Volvo 740. It was definitely a tank on 4 wheels, and we kept working on it, fixing the brakes and so on. And I mean, you learned all the time when you work with this stuff. After finishing college, when I was 20 years old, I went into university to study for Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering. The interests for engines and technical things was still there, but I did not practice it on a regular basis. Well, there were other interests, of course, but not engine at this time. Anyway, in 2013, I met Louise, who is my wife today and the mother of our 2 children. And she has an interest for painting with watercolors, and she's really good, I must say. She could definitely sell her paintings if she wanted to. This is an interest that you have close to your home. It doesn't take so much time in logistics to start with your interests. You can start and stop quite fast. And this was a thing that I also wanted to find. I thought about starting with cars, but when you start with cars, everything gets so big. You have to have a lift, you have to have special tools. Everything gets big. At this time, I did not come up with lawnmowers, but there was one specific situation that made me into this. So this I will tell you now. The situation happened around 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember exactly. I was sitting one day drinking my morning coffee in the kitchen, and across the street a neighbor of ours, which I not been talking to before, their son was about to start cutting the grass. he pulls out from the garage an old Clippo from 1985 with a 3.5 Briggs classic engine on it. And he starts to pull this engine to start. And he pulls and he pulls. And the more he pulled, the redder he got in his face and the more sweaty he got. I mean, he must have pulled this engine like 50 times. Anyway, he takes the Clippo back into the garage, takes out an old Stiga from the same age, 1983 to 85 something, with a 4 horsepower Briggs on, vertical pull start. And he pulls this engine, I guess, 30 times. Because if he would have pulled that engine 50 times, he would have a heart attack. And I was sitting there drinking my coffee and thinking to myself, it ain't gonna start. Doesn't matter how much you pull it, it ain't gonna start. Anyway, he put the lawnmower back in the garage, closed the garage and went into the house. There was no cutting that day. So I thought to myself, this is something that I'm gonna have to fix. A couple of days later, they were out in the garage again. I went over to them and like, hi, my name is Anders. I live on the other side of the street. I love fixing engines and I love lawnmowers. I've seen that you have some problems with your lawnmowers here. Would you mind if I take a look at them? They said to me, yeah, sure, you can take a look at them. We have 6 of them. So he opened up the garage and in a row he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lawnmowers standing in a row. None of them working and all from the glory age of like 80 to 85, Stiga, Clippo and so on. So I said to him, yeah, okay, I can start with the first one and then we continue on. Anyway, I got the first one running and then the second one running and so on. And one of them I wanted to buy, so I placed a little bid on it. I will show you later. So after I got all of these lawnmowers to start and to work again, I thought to myself that, hey, there might be a business here, because the local shop in my area has been closed for a couple of years. So you have to travel quite far to get your equipment serviced. So I made some advertisement at the local store and also on some Facebook groups and some posters close to mailboxes and so on, and the mail started to come and the telephone started to ring, and I've been quite busy since then. Welcome to my little area. I hope you don't get too seasick now. As you can see, I really like the Makita brand. I started with this a couple of years ago, and yeah, with all the batteries you can just buy new machines, so I just kept on going with it. I do a lot of carpenting also, so I have circular saws and jigsaws and different kind of machines for woodworking. Here is my workbench. It's self-built, quite easy with just a simple wood construction. Down here is my compressor. It's really small, but it works for me. As you can see, I love old classic engines and especially Briggs. I will make a video about this in the future, but this is a new old stock, 3 horsepower. This is a 2 horsepower I rebuilt some years ago. Here we have more of machines and different tools and oils. Here's a workbench I built some years ago on wheels, and you can also flip the back side up so you get more space. And here on the other side I have spare parts, some spare engine blocks, and yeah, that's about it. And I don't have a lot of tools. They are quite limited to not so much. I have here's the some pieces of the 10K brand. Gift. They're really good, Mick. Thank you for those. Yeah, just some simple screwdrivers and 3/8. This I use a lot. 3/8 sockets and yeah, just some really simple things. Spark plug keys and tools for lapping valves and a puller, and this is a great tool. I use this quite a lot for the starter clutch. That has come really in handy when you're working on older engines. But I would like to show you the crown jewel of my tools. Just give me a second here. I'm not. This is not a sponsor from Wirt in any way. This is a gift I got a couple of years ago. But this has basically everything that I use every day. 1/4 inch socket and then 1/2 inch socket and some keys, extensions, and yeah, this is a great toolbox. It mostly covers 90% of everything I need for working. Since my place is pretty small, I don't use or work on tractors and so on, so I can only fit in the door. I can only get lawnmowers and chainsaws and so on. So I'm not able to work on tractors. And here is the Clippo that I bought from my neighbor. It's not the original engine. This is a 4 horsepower rebuilt engine that I put it on in the meantime while I have been rebuilding the original engine, a 3.5 horsepower engine, the same model. And you will see this in some videos, where in a series of 3 videos where I'm changing out the rings. It's in really good condition and the quality is really high. It's casted aluminium deck and ball bearings in the wheels and 19-inch mulching blade. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. And under here is my yellow Stiga also, and here is a 4 horsepower horizontal Briggs engine, also new old stock. I think it has 15 or 20 minutes running time maximum. I have a little, how to say, boy dream that I would like to build myself a mini bike with it. So a shout out to all my American friends. If you have or know anyone that has a frame in a good condition, like the 60s, 70s, 80s style, please contact me. I'm willing to buy it for sure. So that ends this video about my history and how I came into small engine and gardening equipment. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please, if you have a couple of minutes, make your own video how your history is and how you came into small engine and gardening equipment. I would really love to hear about it. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care and stay well. Cheers. Bye bye.